What up, everyone? You know who I am. I'm Jack Slater. Yeah, the comic outlaw, coming to you from parts unknown. And it's time. It's time. It's time for another movie review. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys out there. When I first heard of this movie that was done by James Gunn, I kind of had my doubts, as a lot of people did, about how good the movie was, what it was going to be, all the standard stuff. And most of all, that it was going to be a Superman knockoff. Now, we're doing Brightburn. Now, keep in mind, it's not a new release. I bought this a while back. It's been out for a while, 2011, 19. It's actually a sequel, believe it or not, from a movie that he made in 2011. That's why I got a little confused, called Super. And Super had the guy from The Office, Dwight. He kind of thinks that aliens went into his mind and told him that he needed to be a wrench-carrying superhero where he beat the crap out of people. It was a pretty bloody movie. It was actually a pretty good movie. Very bloody. And this is done in the same vein, I guess. And this tells about the Dark World Superman. I guess that'd be like the Dark World's Daredevil or Batman or whatever you want to call him. Now, this is about a little kid who falls to Earth, much like Superman, but the race is a little bit different. They have like a wasp mentality. And if you guys don't know about wasps, they basically like kind of set up in another insect's nest, and they allow them to raise the egg, and then it wakes up and basically just devours all of them. You gotta love nature, huh? But anyways, so this kid, he grows up, and then when he hits puberty, right around 12, where you're discovering your body and stuff like that, he discovers that he has superpowers. And he starts to become a little psychotic because there's a ship, of course, there's always a ship. I mean, what brought him here, right? And it calls out to him. And it's like the influence of his people is telling him to take control, to take over, to take everything, take the world. And he's sort of fighting this influence, but his mother kind of goes into, oh yeah, spoilers, la 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 la. Mother's kind of in denial. The father realizes it, but sort of realizes it too late. And he tries to, boom! The kid's already sticking his fist in lawnmowers. I mean, this kid, the actor that does it, like certain kid actors can't pull off like creepy or foreboding. This kid does a wonderful job. Like, you believe that he's a sinister fucker. Like, he's stalking this girl that he has a crush on. He accidentally broke her arm because they were doing that trust thing where you push people and she let. Anyways, she let him fall and he grabbed onto her arm. And he basically is crushing on her. So much so that when the mom told him that she couldn't be with him and da-da-da-da-da, he actually went and killed her. I mean, this kid has a very, very twisted mind. And he just goes on a mad spree. Imagine a 12-year-old with the abilities of Superman. And nobody sees it coming. Now, the one thing that can hurt him is the metal from his spaceship. I guess that's his kryptonite. It actually cuts him. So, hopefully they do something with that. Like I said, this kid, he's in a small town, so he just basically decimates the town. And I'm doing this in broad strokes, people, because I actually do want you guys to see this movie. This movie is a fascinating look. And in one of my previous videos, I actually talked about Lex Luthor for president. And this is why I think people like Lex Luthor need to exist. In situations like this. I mean, he's actually right. If Superman wasn't benevolent, you know what I mean? If he wasn't the goody-goody that he is, look at all the shit that he can do. Look at all the bad realities where Superman takes over just because he can. Look at the Injustice world. Red Sun. The world where he's a Nazi. I mean, there's so many different possibilities that a super being could just lose his shit. And we would just be standing there like morons not knowing what to do as he's bringing down airplane after airplane incinerating people and just basically having his way with everything and everyone that he wants. You know, that's why I believe certain programs ought to be set up to stop and monitor these people. Yes, I do agree with Lex Luthor. And this Brightburn is just more proof of it. Like I said, it's very interesting how he changes. Because he goes from just being an average boy, you know, like average temperament and stuff like that. And boom, when the ship hits him, like a total mindfuck, man. He goes from 0 to 180 quickly. And the movie kind of hints at like a Dark Justice League or like an invasion force coming, or, you know, there's other creatures, which would be interesting. I mean, I would love to see a sequel to this movie. They left so much on the table. I have no idea how they're going to link Super in, because blah, 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 blah. If you don't want to hear this, I'm way last scene. There's like these little pictures of different superheroes, like this weird looking fish guy, weird looking energy dude, and a picture of that guy in the red suit, Super, holding a wrench. So that tells you right there that these James Gunn movies are connected. But how? Because if you watch the Super movie and then this one, Super makes more sense now. Because there's a scene where you think he's hallucinating, but these aliens actually come down with big, weird-looking aliens, and they open his brain and they touch him. And you're wondering if it's a hallucination, what's going on, and this guy just seems to have incredible luck after that, living through all these gnarly situations that he gets himself into. So maybe he's the chosen one? And if so, why would they pick such an idiot? But then again, this is a weird world that James Gunn was like kind of weave together, and I'm hooked, man. I'm interested. I'd actually want more, but since he's doing Guardians of the Galaxy and these movies that took like 8 years to make between, I don't know how they're gonna do this. I mean, this movie came out in 19. It's 2 years later. The kid's older. I mean, will they start off with a different kid? Will they just continue with him rampaging over the world? I mean, in 2 years, that little shit could do a lot of damage. Unless he's stopped. Unless they figure out a way to contain him or make a deal with him. Yeah, you heard me, make a deal. So it's very interesting. I do want to see where this movie goes. And I really want to see this Super connection. So if you haven't seen Super, I recommend it. It's more of a comedy. This movie's dark. All right, this movie's dark. There's not a happy ending. So it's kind of one of those ones that I like. You know, it's just like the world is screwed, and here's why. And I always thought, yeah, you put someone in that position and they don't have Superman's conscience. Of course we're gonna be fucked. You know. But yeah, I recommend this movie. If you have time and a decent sense of humor, and you like laughing at, you know, those spoofs of superhero genres, Super's actually good to watch. But I highly recommend this one. You don't need to watch Super to watch this one. This movie is just all kinds of good. Like, you would not believe some of the stuff like this kid does. And Elizabeth Banks is in this movie. I mean, mwah. She does a really good role as the mother. And, you know, she tries to be a protective and loving mother. But in the end, she realizes her son's a monster. And she tries to even take him out. And, well, let's just say he gives her a more dignified death than he actually gave the father, the uncle, the aunt, and basically the rest of them. It was messed up death, but still, it was a more dignified one, I guess. If you want to put it in perspective. But yes, Brightburn. And he comes up with that name himself. I mean, he designs that, the costume. This kid is just freaking crazy. The actor they picked as Brightburn, really good. Like I said, he had that gift that a lot of child actors don't, able to turn it on. To go from like 0 to 100, you know, boom, boom, boom. I recommend this movie. It shows you a darker view of what if Superboy wasn't as good as everyone thinks that he is, if you know what I mean. So yeah, Brightburn, recommended. That is my movie review, and as always, I'll catch you on the flip side, and you better subscribe, man. Spread the word.